Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wrath of the Righteous with me, Bregaton.
I'm gone.
Let's continue exploring Gundrun. Drunkard. What do you want? Nope. Is that enough for 3?
We do it my way.
A barkeep? You there. Yes, you, my friend. Come over here. Okay. Greetings. I'm the owner of this small but cozy tavern. You don't look like a local. Make sure to come by if you need a quiet corner to snooze in. What a coincidence. That's exactly what I was looking for.
If my gran could see me now, I wonder what she'd say. I wonder what put that in my head. Well, that's my night ruined now. I'm gonna hear that old hag's voice in my head all day tomorrow.
Are we in trouble yet?
Follow if you dare.
And a troubled merchant. Are you the heroes who help fight off the hunger that moves at the gates? So you know how to handle those abominations. You can help me out too. The merchant sizes you up with his eyes and clicks his tongue in a friendly manner, clearly liking what he sees. I do have that effect on people. I am Blemming, an upstanding citizen and merchant in this town. Ask anyone. Everybody knows me here. I make a living bringing back certain goods from Numeria. Of late, however, I haven't been able to bring back anything. The hunger that moves is stalking the mountain pass, and now my caravan can't get through. If you help me, you can be sure I'll see to it that you're well rewarded. Now tell me what the problem is, and I'll decide if I'm going to help you. There's not a lot to tell, really. Caravans bound for Numeria use the mountain pass. There is no other route. And it's there, at the narrowest stretch, that the hunger that moves has made its new home. My caravan has been attacked twice. I haven't seen it myself, obviously, but many of my people escape with their lives. Then, they all say they were attacked by the hunger that moves. I feel like then isn't necessary there. Now everyone's flatly refusing to go without a heavy escort. But where am I supposed to find people to do the job? Sigvorn has no manpower to spare on account of that quarantine. So will you do it? So I wonder if you resolve Sigvorn's problem first. This quest can play out differently. I'll help protect the caravan. That's great. That's just great. My lads are sitting near the fisher folk's house by the wall. Tell them I sent you, and they'll explain the rest. Let's trade, shall we? The merchant runs his gaze over you and chuckles. Why, a gentleman of such distinction would be much better served by Arysen Krei? My merchandise is what it is. Simple articles for peasants like myself. Why would the hunger that moves attack a caravan? That's a good question. But do I look like an expert in these abominations? On the face of it, there's no reason the hunger that moves should attack wagons. But for all I know, perhaps there's no other prey on the mountain pass, so it attacks whatever living flesh it sniffs out. What do you do in Gundrun? I bring back goods from Numeria. I'm a humble trader, but here in Gundrun, people like me are worth their weight in gold. We have to get some of our most basic items from Numeria, or be truly miserable. But with Ustalav imposing a blockade on us 100 years ago, that's where I come in. I bring back hardware tools, fabric, spices, you name it. I have to go. May Serena bless you with good fortune.
I'm off.
And he mentioned Arysen Krei, or Krei. Not sure which pronunciation I like better. A lean, tall man behind the counter turns toward you. The suit he's wearing doesn't immediately catch the eye, but it is expensive. His thin lips stretch into a friendly smile. Welcome. I'm Arysen Krei. Thanks for coming to my humble shop. Gundrun's guests are my guests. Where are you and your companions from? I'm a crusader from Dresden. The merchant's eyes light up even more. A crusader from Dresden. Imagine that. Very interesting. I usually see Numerian travelers here, and the occasional Ustalav. You really are a special visitor. But anyway, forgive my curiosity. I imagine you have questions. Would you like to see my merchandise? Who are you? The merchant twists an expensive ring on his finger, looking lost in thought for a moment. I used to be asked that a lot, back when I had just come here. Your question almost transported me back to those days. What used to be my answer? I'm a foreigner, but you needn't be afraid of me. I'm an Ustalov, but do weigh all the pros and cons of running a pitchfork through me. The merchant's laughter is soft, but very sincere. Those were the days, full of fuss and new faces. A pleasant memory. A lot has changed since then. I've settled down here, started my own business, put on a few pounds. Happy to make your acquaintance. My name is Arysen Krei. I'm a rare breed around these parts, a merchant. And an outstanding one too, I must add. By the way, what do you say if this merchant had some business to discuss with you? Tell me what kind of business first. Fair enough. Information first, decisions later. You're a shrewd one, I could see that right away. And that's the reason I'm making this proposal. I suppose you've heard about the trouble at the Wolf Goddess's temple by now. In case you haven't, here it is in a nutshell. For a long time now, the temple has been besieged by demons. The goddess's powers prevent them from getting in, but they have no intention of leaving either. I've managed to find out that the demons are likely coveting a certain knick-knack that's inside the temple. Well, knick-knack is one way of putting it. Some might prefer ancient relic. It's really just an old piece of wood with a rich history, but as long as it stays in the temple, those monsters won't leave the town in peace. If you happen to get inside sometime, take a good look around. Ideally, I'd like to acquire this item, but I would also welcome any information. Is it actually in the temple? What does it look like? Where is it being kept? Get the idea? I'm prepared to pay handsomely for anything you can tell me about it. I'll look around the temple when I get the chance. You made me the happiest among merchants. Glad to shake your hand and seal the deal. And remember, the reward will be very generous. I'm saying this in case you're not especially concerned about what will become of Gundrun. It's a little ominous. He could have left that out, I think. What's it like living in Gundrun as an Ustalov? The merchant smiles a reserved, knowing smile. If the locals' looks could kill, but they can't, so it's eminently tolerable. Yes, I'm a little unpopular, this is true. You see, being an Ustalov here is an indelible stigma. No matter how many years I've been, and will continue to be, an honest shopkeeper, they'll always say, he's a nice chap, sensible and honest, but still an Ustalov, so don't put your pitchfork away just yet. Do you understand? What's the deal with Ustalov in this place? Ah, it's the troubles of bygone times. When Old Sarkoris fell, a handful of survivors sought refuge in Ustalov, but the Ustalovs were afraid of the demonic scourge. Ustalov closed its borders to refugees. The blockade has continued to this day. Yes, it's an antagonism that goes back decades. Sadness clouds the merchant's gaze. That blockade is a deplorable misunderstanding stemming from a lack of research into the nature of demons at the time. I was profoundly outraged to learn that the borders were still closed. While of course, it was beyond my power to change that, I did all I could. I came here and opened my shop, so that my merchandise might in some way relieve these people's hardship. Tell me about Gundrun. A wonderful place, a bit of an acquired taste. Quiet, old-fashioned. It can feel its potential. Gundrun can be more than this. It's a shame not everyone who's in charge of its future sees that. What do you think of Arysen? A wonderful woman of firm principles. A true Sarkorian. Although between you and me, the total of her knowledge of the ancestral ways comes from what her grandmother told her, of what her own grandmother had told her of what... You get the idea. She goes out of her way to revive old customs, but from where I'm standing, it sadly seems to do nothing to help Gundrun move with the times. Wouldn't you say forward is the only direction worth moving in? Time only moves forward. Be like time. That's what I always say. He who plows on ahead with no knowledge of the road will stumble into a bog, or fall into a ditch and break both his legs. The girl might not know our traditions very well, true enough, but at least she follows them. But what do you think of Sigvorn? A most worthy man, courageous, honest, and a true leader. Another pleasant trait of his is his openness to new things, much as he strives to remain true to his Sarkorian roots, or his idea of them. It's just that he lacks any flexibility in political matters. You see what I mean? And Gundrun is badly in need of allies. He's too ready to bend whichever way the breeze is blowing. Have you ever heard of sorcerers in a chieftain's band? Oberg scoffs angrily. You know, it's not a good idea to trust everyone who's trying to make friends with you. He wants Oglins for allies. Allow me to assure you, I have no dealings with, what did you call them? Oglins. On the contrary, we're talking about honorable, respectable people whose favor will only benefit Gundrun. I reckon you know better than an Oglin yourself. I look at your slimy smirk, and I can see right away that you're up to no good, making trouble in Oberg's neighborhood. I show the strange charm. The stone looks old and valuable. What do you think? It's nothing remarkable. A common occult item, straight out of Old Sarkoris, judging by its exterior. If you wish to sell it, I can offer you 1,500. Sorry for not being able to go any higher. It's not what you'd call fast-moving goods. I think I'll keep the stone. I understand. The most versatile item. Perhaps one day you want to crack a few nuts, so you'll fish in your pocket, and that'll be its finest hour. So we already know he's misleading us a little bit, because Ascena said this could be used to summon the spirits in the forest. Obviously not a very honest guy. Though I do think he looks a lot like the depictions of Arysen, which will tie into his quests later. What do you think of the Wolf Goddess? A most interesting entity. In terms of power, she doesn't exactly rank with the likes of Iomade, of course, but she is powerful enough. It's sad to see people's faith in Sarkorian gods wane by the day. A pity. But time passes, and some things pass with it. What was before will never be again, nor will Old Sarkoris ever rise from its ashes. Show me your wares. Of course. I have excellent articles, and at good prices too. So he also sells Swarmbane clasps. It might be worth picking those up. We don't have enough for it, obviously. He does sell a good piece of armor. If I can find it. A quiver of Rose's Thorns. The owner of this quiver can use it to shoot 20 units of unholy speed ammunition per day. This ammunition deals additional 2d8 unholy damage on hit. Using this quiver grants chances to weaken the target for 1d6 rounds, as opposed under Curse of Weakness spell. Let's say under the Curse of Weakness. Arrow Guard. This +4 buckler grants its wielder an additional +3 bonus to armor class against ranged attacks. A Barding of Tenacity. This +3 Barding grants its wearer immunity to poison and trip combat maneuver. Midnight Hunter's Ring. This ring grants its wearer a +2 enhancement bonus to dexterity ability score. Their attacks against lycanthropes gain a +2 enhancement bonus on attack rolls. Once per day, the wearer of this ring can apply the effect of the haste spell to themselves for 5 rounds. I don't recall there being very many, if any, lycanthropes in the game. Maybe in the Treasure of the Midnight Isles. You do come across some in Kingmaker. But it still gives you a dexterity bonus, and you can get a free cast of haste for 5 rounds per day, which is pretty good. Ustalavic Pride. This +3 full plate armor grants its wearer a +3 enhancement bonus to Charisma ability score, and a +4 enhancement bonus to CMD. It also grants its wearer a DR5 against the attacks of the undead. So that +3, I think I mentioned early on, there was equipment that gave you an odd amount of charisma, and it was this one. So you could leave your charisma at like 15 or 17, and then equip this and not worry about it. Scorching Bracers. These golden bracers grant the wearer an ability to cast Scorching Ray 3 times per day as a 12th level caster. They also increase the save DC against all evocation school spells the wearer casts by 2. That's pretty good. Locust Shepherd's Staff. While holding this +2 quarterstaff, the wielder gains DR5 against the attacks of swarms. Melee attacks with the staff deal additional 3d8 bludgeoning damage to all swarms, even those that would normally be immune to weapon damage. The wielder can use the staff to cast Remove Sickness 3 times per day as a swift action. We've seen both of these. So really, I just want this armor and possibly this. But we can't afford it right now. Where do we get a whole pick crate? Don't worry, pick from Gramps' pantry. Great man he was, my Gramps. May Serena guide. I was waiting to read this after. Ah, black magic. Sorcerer's tricks. Serena saved me. What's happening to me? Somebody, hey, pick somebody. Hey, my buddy, pick. Why'd he run away like that? He just looked at me and went all, ah. Why can't I see my hands? Where'd they go? Where'd my hands go? Am I dead? I'm sort of see-through. My mother told me drinking would, be the death of me. And she was right. Help me, brother. Hear sobs and lamentations coming out of thin air. Who are you? So you can hear me. Thanks, Serena the Protector. I'm Donic. I'm local. I'm a friend. You are invisible. So, not a ghost. He lets out a drunken sob. Have I been cursed? Did, Gramps do this to me for stealing his liquor? So you drank your grandfather's liquor? Well, yeah. Why not? He's old. He doesn't need it. The crate just stood, there gathering dust for goddess knows how many years. Sounds like your grandfather is an alchemist. No. He is? Come to think of it, the liquor bottles were a little, small. Gramps, why would he do this to me? Stay here while I think of something. I'm staying. Just don't forget about me. I'm invisible, you know. I'd forget about me quicker than I could go down a gill. He sobs. Oh yeah, I forgot to read the rest of that dialogue. So, what? Where? Where we get a whole, crate? Don't worry, it's from Gramps' pantry. Great man he was, my Gramps. May Serena guide him through the wastes. But crazy wild moonshine, I'm telling you, don't be such a chicken. Look, I'll drink first. We read the rest. Alright.
I do what I must.
Alright, that's the chief's place, and this will take us outside of Gundrun. We'll save that for later.
I'm gone.
Alright, I think all the corners are checked. We didn't miss any perception checks that I saw. So the drunkard we can talk to Arysen about.
We do it my way.
Bjordolf.
This is my kind of work.
Alright, we got the Owl's Cowl. This cow gives the wearer a +6 enhancement bonus to wisdom ability score. If the wearer benefits from any shifter aspect, they also gain a +2 circumstance bonus to damage with all natural attacks. This cow is worn together with the cat's boots. The wearer additionally gains a +2 circumstance bonus to armor class. That's pretty good. Circumstance bonuses are fairly uncommon. A bonus to initiative. Oh, he's not wearing anything.
Did the world just forget me?
Follow if you dare.
Oh, Bjordolf. You must speak to the chieftain first, not his advisor. What? Don't you know the rules? Don't be condescending. How'd you even get across to this side? I'll be having a few choice words with the guards at the crossing. Come on in, since you're here. Do you need any help with the quarantine? No, I'll handle it just fine. I've already sent off for a healer. Bjord, my advisor, took care of it. The healer is delayed in coming, of course. Sigvorn clicks his tongue in frustration. You think he'd hurry his nag a little after the fortune I paid him? Well, no point in fuming over it. He'll be here any day now. Why won't you let Arysen help? If you've talked to her, you probably understand the reason yourself. He shakes his head. She is a heedless one. She believes Serena will protect her from everything, and she'll walk through fire armed with that faith. And the disease is dangerous. 3 of our people have died already. That's why I've put all the sick in one house and put a guard on the door. It's the safest thing to do until the healer gets here. There's something else. The reason why Issa is so troubled by the whole thing. The disease reared its head after the feast day. And do you know which feast it was? The one in honor of our wolf. Asena's in charge of the preparations every year. So she torments herself. She feels guilty. And it takes a clear head to deal with any serious job. You have an advisor. His name is Bjordolf. I brought him all the way from Numeria. He was in my party. He wasn't much use in combat, but he has applied himself here. What do you know about the disease? Bah, barely anything. It all began right after the feast in honor of our Serena. They hadn't even taken the garlands off the gates that evening when the first one fell sick. Maybe they brought in the disease along with some foreign goods. Maybe it's something else. But people are hurting and dying. Talk to Bjord. He can tell you more. Your people might not last until help arrives. Sigvorn's hands curl into fists. His brow furrows. I am aware, he yells, but then quickly cools his temper. What do you suggest I do then? I can't get a healer from Ustalov. The border is closed. Not that I want anything to do with those ghouls. Alright, it can't hurt. Go have a look if you like. I'll tell my people to let you go where you please. But Arysen is not allowed to go anywhere near the sick. You figure out a way to weed out the disease. Come, and we'll talk. I want to ask you about something. Sure, ask away. What are your thoughts on Gundrun? What a thing to ask. I'm the chief here, you know. My thoughts, they're the same thoughts any good father has on his child. For all their faults, they're still my child. Sigvorn's laughter is resounding and pleasant. After he is done laughing, he rubs his chin. I think I regret every day I ever spent away from this place. This is my home, my tribe, and my tribe needs me. I won't let its spirit stiffen and wither, bound by old traditions. Mages, technology, even horned devils for crying out loud. We'll absorb it all and turn it to our benefit. One way or another, Gundrun will live. I'm listening to you, I don't know what to make of it. On the one hand, Chief, I'll put it plainly, you're talking nonsense. When has sorcery ever helped us? But then again, Ulrich scratched at his beard. Then again, you've got the Sarkorian spirit. You're talking balderdash, but you're talking like a chieftain. What are we supposed to do, friend? All Sarkoris died 100 years ago. The whole world's been turned upside down. What used to be reasonable is madness now, and what sounded like madness now makes sense. Times have changed. Sigvorn gives Ulbrich a friendly thump on the shoulder. But our spirit's the same as ever, no matter what century we're in. Tell me about yourself. I am the chieftain. Sigvorn shrugs his mighty shoulders, his face radiating calm dignity that gives you an indication of how much the word means to him. Do you see this sword? He nods over his shoulder at the worn leather-bound hilt. I got it from my father, as he got it from his father, as he got it from his... And the one who originally forged it and let it drink the blood of his enemies was a Sarkorian chieftain, many moons before the fall of this land. And what was his name? Tell me, chieftain, what is your clan name? And what is the name of this fine sword of yours? Want to test me, do you? Very well. I present myself as is proper. I'm Sigvorn Daughtry, son of Oswald Daughtry, grandson of Walter Daughtry. Our clan was founded by Trovan Daughtry, the great smith who trapped Dragonflame in his forge. And as for my father, Sigvorn frowns. His name was lost along with our homeland. My grandfather died defending his home when my father was just a babe. The sword survived, and my grandfather took its name to his grave. May I take a look? Ulbrich examines the scabbard and hilt of the sword with reverence, cautiously touching the tongues of flame etched on the guard. I knew your great-great-grandfather, Wilbur Daughtry, and this blade, I've seen it in battle. Its name is Dawncutter. I see you have not dishonored it, or your ancestors. Dawncutter. Sigvorn presses his lips to the sword's handle, and bows his head before Ulbrich. Thank you. Never have I been given so precious a gift. What are these metal things on the walls? Oh, these. Everyone here gawks at them, but I got used to seeing them back in Numeria. He nods at the peculiar decorations on the walls of his dwelling. That machine can predict the coming of rain. That one tells time. And this one is just a trophy. A memento of the glorious past of a Numerian mercenary. Yes, I'm telling you this openly. My band and I, we're not ashamed of it. You're not ashamed. Fair enough. But you've got nothing to be proud of either. You're wrong. A victory's a victory, even if it's in a foreign land and a foreign war. Without those victories, without the trophies and experience we brought back from Numeria, you think Gundrun would be still be standing today. What's your opinion of Arysen? Issa does good work. She's a fine lass. I have no quarrel with her as the tribe's shaman. Those old traditions of hers, on the other hand. How are we supposed to get anywhere if we're always looking over our shoulder? Issa has to understand. Everything changes in this world. We must change along with it. What matters is what you hold in your heart. And that's where I hold Sarkoris. Yes, this is Numerian armor. But underneath it, I'm still the same descendant of a Sarkorian chieftain. I swear it in Serena's name. There are some things you shouldn't do for the sake of surviving. There are some things that shouldn't be changed. Listen to the shaman chief. It's a centuries-old tradition for every tribe to have its own shaman, and there's a good reason for it. Maybe you're right, but... Sigvorn smirks. Is it also a centuries-old tradition that the chieftain and the shaman have to be at each other's throats? Ulbrich lets out a booming laugh. It is, and that's the truth. Thank you for your answers. You're welcome. I have to go. Right you are. No time to be sitting idle. We'll have business to take care of. I like Sigvorn as a character. They almost set him up to be the antagonist of Ulbrich's area, but he's not. I also really like his portrait. Alright, so we can head back this way to the infirmary. I think I'll like clues for the quarantine on the other side of the river. I'm pretty sure there are none on this side. We saw a couple of suspicious things on our way over here anyway. Like there's that dead dog next to the pumpkin.
I'm gone.
Now we have a smart boy to talk to. But I'm gonna call it here for now. Next time, we'll investigate the quarantine and the disease. Oh, I was supposed to talk to Bjordolf.
We do.
Almost forgot.
Follow if you dare.
Bjordolf, advisor to the chieftain. At your service, Outlanders. I'm strongly advising you against looking into this matter. How would famed warriors like you concern yourselves with the quarantine? But I won't go against the chief's orders. Ask me whatever you want to know. How long have people been ill? A couple of days. Since the evening of our feast day in honor of Serena the Protector. Interesting. What are the symptoms of the disease? The symptoms are horrible indeed. Stomach cramps, weakness, and fever. The affliction brings down strapping men, as well as children and the old. Take my advice. Do not venture close to the sick, or the bodies. Serena protects those who protect themselves. Tell me about yourself. About myself? Oh, I'm not worthy of your notice. I'm just a man who does his duty. What duty is that? I must go. I won't keep you.
I'm off.
This does his duty. They didn't specify who the duty was for. Alright.
I do what I must.
Get back to the bridge, then I'll call it there, and next time we'll get to the bottom of this disease in quarantine. We also have the quest for the Troubled Merchant, and there's a little bit more to explore down here. I think I have to do that before I resolve the quarantine too. Right? No, it's not tied to that. It doesn't matter. We'll probably clear it all out beforehand anyway. Alright, I'm gonna call it here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.